welcome. My name is Errity Green, and this is Wise Women Oracle and Tarot. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on your inner villain. So the reason I'm doing this reading, and of course as soon as I begin, my dog is scratching at the door. The reason I'm doing this reading is because it's so important that we learn to integrate our inner villain and or the parts of us that we tend to suppress, deny, aren't even aware of. And that way these parts of us can come under conscious control as opposed to operating covertly or surreptitiously. And here's my dog right here. So without further delay, I will place a picture up of your 3 card piles to choose from. I first want to mention that if you like this reading, please do like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. And then if you want to get to know more about me and my work, or you would like a personal reading, you can check out those details below or visit erritygreen.com. All right, so here are your 3 card piles to choose from today. Okay, so card pile 1, we're talking your inner villain. So a few things. The first things that are popping up are you might be someone who can speak your truth pretty fiercely, directly, if not ferociously or offensively or insensitively at times. So I feel like people can be sort of scarred by your words, branded by them. You might be someone, again, with a volatile tongue. You might be someone who can destroy someone with their words. So I feel like you can be pretty hurtful with sort of blunt honesty or direct truth. Now I want to say, and I should have mentioned this in the opening, that we're going deep today. Like, this is your inner villain, and so you better be ready to own it, number one, and put it under conscious control. There is no judgment here. Everyone who comes on here is going to have an inner villain they're choosing. I have my own inner villains. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're not bad. This is just a matter of getting to know yourself more deeply. So harsh tongue, probably also quick wit, someone who has a very sharp intellect. This is someone who's very sharp, very clear, organized, like they know what they're doing. When I first opened, I got the energy of someone who could be controlling or domineering, but maybe doesn't see this in herself. And so, it's someone who likes to be in control, but at the same time, I feel like, and this goes deep because there's a lot of things that are coming in at the same time, so I'm trying to put words to multiple different things that are coming up here that are it's like you have an umbrella, but then you have all these offshoots. And I feel like you might be someone who's domineering and controlling and power-driven and ambitious. So noticing, as you can see, right, already from the very beginning, and I think I didn't know to expect this, but we're getting sort of the positive or healthy, adaptive version of these traits, as well as the dark side, right? So it's like the shadow and the light, the two sides of the same coin. So it's learning to bring it under conscious control so that you can still express this part of you. This is a raw, real, primal part of you that's not meant to be shelved or hidden or silenced. It's just a matter of using it wisely. And so that sharp tongue, that quick wit, that direct honesty can be used for good or for bad, right? Your ability to hold a lot of weight and do what must be done, that power-hungry, driven, controlling kind of persona or part of you that you have can be used, again, with ambitious and drive and determination. You're probably someone who can create quite a lot, accomplish anything you set your mind to. What else is here? There might be a part of you too, because you're so intellectually driven, sharp, intelligent, cunning, you might feel challenged at times to be able to access your emotions and do the necessary healing that's required in order to really step into a more holistic and multifaceted version of you, something that is more whole. Meaning, if you're always sort of in control or in that persona of being domineering or in the intellect or being sharp and cunning, more than likely or more often than not, you're operating there as opposed to in the heart, settling in the heart space of emotion and whimsy and enjoyment and relaxation and pleasure and and also forgiveness as well, because we do have a message here about being able to feel so that you can heal, allowing yourself to actually pay attention to that part of your experience as well as that part of life, not kind of being bulldozed over. Let's see what else we have here, because I did want to have another card. Yeah, so I feel like there's a mother wound here, something that's maternal. It might not be the case for all of you. I have a hair in my mouth. I can't get it. This might not be the case for all of you, but I feel like for a lot of you, there's a mother wound here. And so there's like this sort of, when we say your inner villain, it feels like this evil witch persona who has been wronged by her mother and maybe a lot of people, and maybe she lashes out and takes it out on people in some of the ways that we've discussed. And so part of your work is stepping into the heart, the feminine, compassion, surrender, releasing, letting go, letting be, easing up, instead of sort of putting the pedal to the metal. It's easing up on the gas. It's not necessarily braking, right? But easing up on the gas. Can you guys feel that when I share it? It's letting go. It's letting be. It's allowing. It's surrendering. It's stepping more into that feminine space, if we're to use those terms. And most people know what I'm talking about when I say it, which is why I use it, of just allowing, surrender, ease, flow, grace, more of that kind of energy, as opposed to always being in that intellectual, sharp, cunning, intelligent, controlling, domineering, power-hungry, driven persona. Does that make sense? So your inner villain, she can be quite an evil witch. We'll say she's an evil witch, maybe even a bee, okay? She knows what's up, and she knows what she's capable of, and she can, like I said, deliver a blow, a serious blow, verbally or otherwise. She knows how to hurt people with intellect. She knows how to hurt people with intelligence. She knows how to hurt people with her words. She's not going to do it low blow. She's not going to be out here keying people's cars and blowing shit up. That's just not her style. She's going to do it intelligently, cunningly, and she's going to get you in the jugular. Okay? So that's your inner villain. And how you're going to work to integrate this is, number one, becoming aware of it today, which you are right now. You're becoming aware of these different traits and qualities that you might not even notice or pay attention to. We do have someone in card pile one of the cards who's blindfolded. I'll show you. She's blindfolded. She's very powerful. She's capable of anything. She's highly competent, has incredible prowess. But yet she can overdo it, right? She can interfere, she can impose, she can become controlling, domineering, and her eyes are closed here. She's blindfolded, so she doesn't always know the harm that she does. She doesn't always recognize her fierceness and how it can wreak havoc and or create casualties, if that makes sense. So the first step is becoming aware of it, and the second step, which your card pile brought up, was about really stepping into that feminine space, as well as the heart, stepping into forgiveness, allowing some healing, really looking at those childhood wounds, patterns, mother wound. I think at some level, for many of you, you're angry because your mother was not there for you in the way that you needed. She wasn't nurturing, she didn't support you, and so you became sort of the angry woman. But I think a lot of that energy is suppressed, but then it comes out in these ways that we're talking about here. And for some of you, you may not have either had a present father. He was either absent or absent emotionally, and or he was as domineering or power hungry as you, and or you more modeled it after him. All of that to say, I feel like there's definitely a maternal or mother wound here that is related to this. And when you dive into that and recognize a lot of this is rooted in not having that nurturing, that care, that compassion, that TLC, that warmth that you needed as a child, and you start to give that to yourself, reparent and remother yourself. And that's right, coming into the heart again, supporting yourself to really connect to the heart, to your needs, to what it is you need or want most, really supporting yourself, nurturing yourself, that inner little girl, let's just say. We have mother wound here, and it tends to sort of follow in the maternal lineage or the female lineage, but it doesn't matter which way. You have to apply this the way that it's showing up for you. But allowing this to support you, or this reading to act as a catalyst for you to step more into your heart space, connect more with your emotions, to the roots of your hurts and pains, so you can become aware and begin to feel more in the present moment, right? We might not be able to go back and fix or heal everything, but now that you have this awareness, you're able to bring more of this into your present moment. Your heart, healing, forgiveness, love, emotions, compassion, warmth, tenderness, easygoingness, letting go, carefree, just being. That's the kind of energy that's going to support you and sort of balance and bolster out this part of you that's going to help bring this under more conscious control and or bringing more presence to it, making peace with it, being aware of it. So card pile 1, if this resonates, if the evil witch is your inner villain and that resonates, do comment below, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. I'd love to hear your stories for this one, you all. Please do not pass up the opportunity to share this time. And if you'd like a personal reading or would you like to learn more about my work in general, you can check out my details below. Visit erritygreen.com or check out my other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. Thank you, card pile 1. Okay, card pile 2. I'm just clearing up some space. I'm looking at your inner villain. Okay, so I feel like your inner villain is actually more of like an inner victim who becomes a villain. So whatever people do to you, you might not even realize it, right? That's why we're bringing it into awareness. But you then become that. So if you feel controlled, you might try to control or dominate somebody else, or counter control, avenge yourself. If someone makes you feel embarrassed, you might try to embarrass them. If someone makes you feel ashamed, you might try to shame them. But I feel sort of like the inner victim, inner child kind of energy that starts lashing out, becoming explosive, angry, rageful, avengeful, is that the word? Because of what has been done to you. But ironically, the inner victim often is the one that becomes the inner perpetrator, right? The inner victim and the inner perpetrator are one and the same. The unhealed inner victim is the perpetrator. So ironically, as victimized as you might have been over the course of your life, you too have become a perpetrator. That alone can be pretty powerful and revelatory enough for many people to kind of forgive, let go, and release and be like, holy crap, now I see how the victim becomes the perpetrator because I've done it for myself. It's a hard truth to look at and a painful pill to swallow. I get it. Obviously, this is an inner victim or inner villain reading, so this is going to be something that can be relatively triggering or activating for people. Obviously, watch only if you're able to handle it. But I do want to share, and I should have opened with that disclaimer, that we are diving into some sort of difficult places, number one. And number two, we'll probably be touching on how our shadows, or the parts of us that we deem wrong, bad, ugly, whatever, these parts of us aren't meant to like be eliminated or shelved or hidden away or whatever. They're meant to be integrated, that we can bring them under our conscious control, that we can become aware of them and even use them to their highest power, mature them, right? From victim to victor, or from inner child to empowered adult, as opposed to victim to perpetrator. You'll often find that your shadow side has both a light and a dark side, we'll say. So for card pile 1, they might have been, you know, power hungry, domineering, controlling, quick-witted, cunning, sharp mouth, fierce truth. But when they flipped it over, it was someone who can accomplish anything and is ambitious and can create anything they put their mind to, and so on and so forth. But for you, card pile 2, this is all about you stepping into empowered and mature adulthood. This is about you bringing your inner victim to inner victor. It's about you taking back the reins and, number one, becoming aware of how your inner victim becomes a perpetrator in and of itself, and how your victimizations actually bring you into a place of sort of entitled villainhood. And we'll get a name, you know, card pile 1 was Evil Witch. We'll see what comes up for you all in card pile 2. I feel like it's tantruming toddler or something like that becomes like the angry adolescent that then becomes the adult perpetrator. And so it's being very clear, and I know this is hard to hear, or maybe it's not, you know. I think take this all with a grain of salt, make it fun, keep it loose, let it be light, but let it inform you and do the work that it's meant to do. Because I feel like you have a history of maybe even being violent, explosive, enraged. And of course, this is coming from your inner child, your wounded inner child, your inner victim. So it's not like it's coming from nowhere. It's not like you weren't ever wronged, but you kind of took that and made it more fodder for you to blame others, for you to become the vitriol, for you to become the fire-breathing dragon. That's what you are, the fire-breathing dragon, all right? So card pile 1 was Evil Witch. You're the fire-breathing dragon, where you sort of do what was done to you, you flip it around and you do the same thing to other people. But you might not be recognizing this. Some of what is needed for you is again, that maturing that part of you, but also finding some safety and security and stability and strength within yourself so that your emotions don't kind of take you all over the place. Your emotions at times have been reactive, volatile, if not abusive at times. I think when you're honest with yourself, you see that. And yet you might see, oh, the world has abused me. The world has hurt me. The world has victimized me. These things might be true, but then you're also doing the same thing. So not only can that bring some awareness for yourself, some level of personal responsibility, but it also helps you have compassion for the people who initially victimized you, because they were probably doing the same thing that you are now, right? Again, hard pill to swallow, but building up that inner footing and stability within yourself, which can be bring some cognition, some space, some awareness into your emotional reactivity, so that you can make better decisions for yourself, healthier choices for yourself. So it's not like getting rid of this raw, primal, explosive energy. It's using it consciously or wisely and bringing it again under that conscious control. And over time, once you're in a state of greater acceptance with it, a lot of the energetic charge is going to dissipate over time, and it's not going to be so explosive. It's not going to be a fire-breathing dragon. It might be just like a little lizard with some attitude, which I think is super cute. Lizard with an attitude. We can do that, okay? That's not going to burn towns down, all right? It kind of reminds me of, what was her name? Heresy or something, a weird name. I never watched it. The Game of Thrones, but her dragons just go and destroy towns because she's mad. And it's like, well, yeah, you were victimized, but now you're doing the same thing. You've become the perpetrator. So holding yourself accountable, but doing this lightly, curiously. Again, this isn't like strangling, putting a stranglehold on yourself and becoming hyper controlling and obsessive about this, or making yourself bad or wrong, or becoming even a perpetrator to yourself. This is about, more so getting curious. And again, keep it light, keep it playful. Be like, oh my God, my inner villain is a fire-breathing dragon, or it's the mother of dragons from Game of Thrones. Cool. Now, what am I going to do with that? How can I make this work? How can I make this something that's healthy for me and doesn't literally burn towns down? But I think the healing is in the recognition of, number one, that this is a part of you. Number two, this is how victims become perpetrators, or victims become villains. And it kind of gives you this clear perspective to recognize that anything that was done to you, it's almost like an instantaneous forgiveness to a degree, as long as you don't just immediately go identify with the inner wounded child again. It's an immediate freedom or liberation from the pains of the past, because you see how victims become villains, and that actually everyone's more or less operating from a state or a place of innocence. We could say ignorance, that's a word, but innocence too. There's an innocence to it, that the inner wounded child just becomes that. They don't intend to necessarily, they don't mean to, it's just what happens to them. And then over time, they become the adult, and now it is their responsibility to address that and to find a way to hold themselves accountable, because that's what's here for you. How do you transmute this? You got to hold yourself accountable and do the necessary work to heal this, to reconcile these parts of yourself. The healing, the helpful piece here for you, card pile 2, the fire-breathing dragons, is for you to recognize your inner wounded child and inner victim are the same, okay? And that your inner victim is the same as your inner villain. So that's like the key point, key piece takeaway for you, is that awareness and recognition, so you can see it all very clearly. So when you are getting into that place of reactivity, impulsivity, rage, whatever, you can say, okay, there's the inner villain, bringing that back to, okay, inner victim, I'm feeling victimized here somewhere, and then taking that all the way back to the inner child. What part of me is feeling like villainized, victimized, abused, censored, shamed, silenced, whatever, and then you say, what can I do to meet that need? How can I support my inner child? What can I do to support her? Because the world might not be able to do it, and it's not the world's responsibility. We go to the inner child and we ask how we can meet its need, and then we do that. So if it doesn't need to feel heard, does it need to feel held, does it need to feel consoled, does it need to feel supported, and then you support yourself to do that and to nurture that part of yourself. That's what's going to bring about a greater healing and alchemy for you, card pile 2, for your fire-breathing dragon, so you can take it from the fire-breathing dragon to the lizard with an attitude, okay? All right, card pile 2, I'd love to hear your comments. I want to hear how this resonated for you, especially a reading like this, which is a lot of fun. If you like this reading, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you would like a personal reading from me or you want to learn more about my work, you can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com. You can also check out my other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, card pile 3. Let's talk about your inner villain. Is your inner villain a warrior, a fighter, a challenger? You know, fight to the death, dig your heels in. I shall not, you shall not pass. Kind of reminds me of that. Let me see what else is here. I want to get it clear. Okay, so what I'm getting is card pile 3. Your inner villain is an inner warrior. And what's interesting here is, number one, I'll offer the disclaimer, because I did for the other piles, that there's nothing wrong with your inner villain, okay? We're not here to shame and silence it some more. The whole point is bringing it into conscious awareness so we can bring it under conscious control so that we have an awareness of it and it can be fully integrated, because now it's not operating under the radar without our awareness of it. As well as each of our sort of villains have both sort of a shadow side and a light side, or a dark side and a light side. Like card pile 1, they were power hungry, domineering, controlling, but then they also had the ambition and drive and determination to be able to accomplish anything, right? Card pile 2, they had sort of emotional, outbursty, fire-breathing dragon kind of energy, but at the same time, you know, that's someone who's assertive, who knows how to meet their needs or can get their needs met. They have relative intimacy or connection to their emotions, right? So there are benefits to each of these things. So it doesn't mean that your inner warrior is like necessarily problematic. It just means that you might kind of create challenges or problems where there are none. You know, you might be someone who kind of even seeks for drama, seeks for a challenge just to overcome it. You might do that in relationships, and maybe people get annoyed with that or frustrated by that. I do want to sit with this energy though, because what I'm finding is, what I'm seeing primarily here at the root of this is not feeling enough and disappointment and loss. So I feel like there's something there around overcompensating or compensating for disappointment and loss and not feeling enough. And maybe you just need to feel strong. You know, you need to feel like you're powerful. You need to access that sense of personal power. And so you do so by kind of owning this persona of, I can do anything, I can fight anything, I will beat anything, I will win anything, I can take this, I can do this. And the thing is, there's a light side to that. I mean, look how, that's a pretty healthy shadow to have. You know, that's the warrior can accomplish a lot of things. It can win wars. It can win over loyalty. It can bring in praises and accolades and all sorts of things. So it's not something that is necessarily, again, well, none of these are necessarily wrong or bad. It's about using them wisely, because when we are operating always or primarily from our inner warrior, we're probably causing challenges or problems where there are none. We're probably creating more drama than is necessary. We're probably getting into sort of like that warrior energy when we don't have to. Meaning, if there's an everyday challenge or disagreement, we can just disagree, right? Or agree to disagree, or let a disagreement go. We don't have to fight to the death. We don't have to dig in our heels. We don't have to call in the troops. We don't have to decide it's World War III all because we disagreed with someone. Like, we can just disagree with someone. It really can be as simple, as easy, and as innocent as that. And I feel like for some of you, in card pile 3, as a warrior, you get easily triggered, right? And again, you're ready for war. You're ready for battle. You're taking this to the ends of the earth. This will be the hill that you die on. A simple disagreement, you know, a simple, like something that other people might kind of be like, no big deal, kind of rolls off their back, dust off the shoulder kind of thing. They don't even give it 2 cents of their attention kind of thing. You're like, no, absolutely not. And I will fight this, and I will fight this to the death. And now you die, you know? And it's like, well, maybe you didn't need that over like a disagreement in the cashier line, you know, or disagreement over traffic, or someone just simply misunderstanding you. Not everything in life, like any kind of encounter, obstacle, challenge, problem, has to become a war, a battle that you must win to the death. So that's what it is, where you kind of get into this that warrior persona in situations where it's really irrelevant or unnecessary. And I think it might cause more problems for you than necessary too. So it might cause upheaval or challenge in relationships, might be difficult, or maybe you encounter a lot of challenge or difficulty in everyday life when it could be more easygoing for you. Let me see what else is here too. Because I also wanted to, so we got to the root of it, right? We talked about this having to do with not enoughness as well as disappointment in the past. And I feel like if you use this warrior energy and primarily use it for the sort of light side, or use it wisely and consciously, you're able to bring about a sense of personal power for yourself. You're able to feel strong and convicted and determined. You're able to accomplish things for yourself. So where you might have been disappointed or experienced loss in the past, you are now like not just unapologetic, but you are determined. You will not fail. Like there's something really incredible and powerful about that. You will not fail. You will not be defeated. And so now you're capable of anything. I don't know why this keeps going out, but let me see if the light's going to come on. It doesn't have to. Lighting's not terrible, but it's also not great. Let me see if I can get it back on. We'll see. Lighting's not terrible, but it's not great. Okay, let's see if I can get it back on. Okay, all of that to say, you're capable of creating what it is you want, accomplishing what it is that you set your mind to. Let me see what else is here, though. I feel like there's more here. Yeah, sort of the medicine here, the opportunity is sort of let yourself rest, let yourself take it easy, let yourself sit back and relax, let yourself be more accepting or in a state of acceptance, meaning not everything has to be battled, not everything has to be fought, not every thought needs to be voiced, not every boundary needs to be erected or given time and attention to. Like, not everything has to be fought, not everything has to be a war, not every molehill has to become a mountain. It's really allowing yourself to rest easy, to take it easy, to sit back, relax, enjoy the show, right? It's like you're always ready for battle, and so there's always this energy in you. Maybe it's an anxious energy, a fighting kind of energy, an angry energy, and it's like you're always kind of preparing yourself for battle, preparing yourself for the next challenge, preparing yourself for the next encounter. But the quote-unquote problem with this is when you're ready, and you got all your shit on, you're like ready to fight the battle, someone can do the slightest thing, a pin can drop, and you're like, let's fight. And it's like, well, the pin just dropped. Like, it could be the simplest of things, but you're so ready and primed for war, for battle, that you immediately jump into war and battle, when it could be something like, oh, a pin just dropped. Like, this is no big deal. Oh, just someone said something on social media. Like, that's a typical everyday thing, no big deal. Again, if someone disagrees with you, or even a judgment or traffic or whatever, kind of everyday mundane things, even everyday disagreements, or even challenging, like semi-challenging experiences and interactions or communication with other people, like they don't have to be a big deal, but you're always ready, and so it becomes a big deal. And I think it causes challenges in your everyday life and in relationships, and especially around communication, conversation, and interaction. It's really letting yourself go and letting yourself be, so you can let also everyone else be. You don't have to, because you won't let yourself be, and because you're always primed, prepared, ready for battle, ready for war, you're not able to allow other people to just be, meaning they're going to make a mistake and you're ready for war. They say the wrong thing, you're ready for war. You have a simple disagreement, you're ready for war. And it's like, well, we can't go to war every day with everyone that we love and expect these to be healthy, fulfilling, loving, warm relationships, right? So you're being asked to just come home to yourself, to let things be easy, to let the warrior take a night off. Definitely keep the warrior around. The warrior is healthy. The warrior is needed for you, okay? And for everybody, a warrior is needed. There will be times you will have to fight. There will be times you might have to fight to the death. There will be times that you have to bring in that warrior to do what must be done for you, for your loved ones, for your children, for your home, for your family, whatever. And it's supposed to clock in at shifts. Like, it's supposed to clock in when it needs to and then clock out. The warrior isn't meant to be your whole personality, your whole persona, your whole life and lifestyle and the energy you occupy. The warrior needs a night off, and so do you. So do you. You're meant to have a night off. You're meant to rest easy. You're meant to release. You're meant to let go. Let me see what else is coming up here. If there's anything else that wants to come up for you. Again, yeah, you can use your warrior toward creative pursuits, your passions, your job, your career, what it is you want to create and accomplish in this life. Like, you're meant to use this warrior. I mean, you're meant to apply this energy. Like, this is important personal power energy. This is solar plexus energy. This is really good masculine energy. There's like energy of the sun, fiery energy that you can apply in any number of ways. Again, passions, dreams, desires, channeling it and applying it in all the ways that, well, it can just like create and build and move, and you just have tons of energy there you're able to apply in all these really wonderful ways. And so using it to apply there, and using it kind of in shifts, like when it's necessary or desired, using it consciously, using it wisely, right, with integration, meaning now we're aware of it and it's not operating outside of our awareness, as opposed to when it's just operating all the time, everywhere, any place, anytime, any person, and it's causing literally landmines everywhere you go. You know, you might be someone who experiences a lot of challenges or problems in your life, everyday problems, like the car is always breaking down, and or there's someone who's always mad at you, or you're always upset with someone. There's always a kink. There's no smoothness, just a little kink. And the kinks are because you're always operating from your warrior energy. Number one, you might be attracting them, but even so, it could just be that life is actually smooth, but you make sure to find the kinks. I feel like it also makes you feel, again, worthwhile. It gives you a sense of personal power, a satisfaction of overcoming yet another milestone, overcoming another hurdle. And because you get this sense of satisfaction from that, it makes you feel stronger, especially from not feeling enough and coming from a place of unworthiness. You might even get a little bit of a hit or a high from it. You're not even realizing you get paid off from it. And so you kind of actually like it, right? Your warrior likes to kind of get off on doing well in war and a battle. So really taking a look at all these pieces so you can take off that armor for the night or for a week or for a month or for a year, whatever, put your feet up and just enjoy life. Be more accepting, be more allowing, letting yourself be, letting your hair down, and therefore also letting others be. So card pile 3, if this lands, resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I think this is a really fun reading to share about, if you all feel comfortable. I, of course, want to let you know that I do offer personal readings. You can get to know more about me and my work down below at erritygreen.com. You can check out my other YouTube channels, Psychic True Crime, Wise Women Television. And if you like this reading, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new video pops up. Thank you, card pile 3.